Well, good morning guys. Sunday the 26th of November today, and as promised we're down here with the two of the carp rods switched over to Pike and Zander fish. All I've done basically is put on running ledger rigs, nice big run ring, fox sort of run ring that you put the lead on, so there's very little resistance there, because I haven't pike fished properly in earnest. I did a little bit last winter, but not properly for big pike for probably 20 years. Done a bit of research, and what I remembered as well was the last thing you want is resistance. So we've got running rigs on. I've got my swingers down there, as you can see, using my swinger indicators, but the weights push right off the back, so there's literally no weight on them at all. All they will do is they will register if we do get a drop back, but that shouldn't happen, because even if the pike swims towards us, because there's a lead on there, it should still pull the line. So I've got two rods there, one rod down the margin this side, one rod slightly further out but over this side. I'm going to just hunt around with them. I've got very small baits on, to be honest. I've got a sort of 2-inch section of lamprey on the one, and on the other one I've got sorry, distracted, there's a buzzard up there. Beautiful. On the other one I've got sort of 2 or 3 inch section of a skimmer. I haven't had a chance to get out and catch any of my own bait, so these are these are shop bought ones I bought yesterday, frozen. What I've also done this morning is bought my float rod down here with me, because I'm sure we'll be able to catch some small roach and bleak and stuff in here, and I can stick them in the freezer as well. Oh, there's Mrs. Buzzard. I could put them in the freezer and save having to buy any, because I do know that Zander as well much prefer freshwater baits. I think they're a lot less likely to take sea baits. So anyway, hedging my bets like I always like to do. You can also see there with the cork handle, I've got one of my light ledger rods out. Just to be honest, do a little bit of roach fishing, perch fishing, because I don't expect the Pike and Zander sport to be going crazy. The water's actually down below 8 degrees now. In just sort of 36 hours it's really dropped a lot. And there's a lot of talk about water temperatures. I don't think there's any particular cut-off point. I mean, I know I've mentioned 10 degrees before, but to be honest I think it's more the trend. And as I've said on previous videos in here, I cut my barbel and carp fishing off, and I tend to use 10 degrees as a cut-off point, because I have never ever, and I have tried, I have never caught a barbel or a carp in here with the water below 10 degrees, no matter what the trend was. So to be honest with you, in here, where they're few and far between, you're better off targeting something else, which is exactly what we're doing now. You know, I like catching all sorts of different, so using all different methods. And here's another one now I probably haven't used for, as I say, about 20 years. So anyway, the middle rod, as I was saying before I started going off on a tangent, I'm going to cast that in 3 or 4 times with a big feeder on, just to get a little bit of ground bait in. I haven't thrown anything in at all, and then I'm going to fish over the top, probably with maggot feeder, something like that. But you heard then there's a couple of beeps. I've got my sounder box on just quietly again. I've got a bit of bread flake on there at the moment, but just about time to get that in, I think, and recast it, so we'll do that now. Well guys, as you can see, the sun's up now. The bread flake was doing nothing, so what I've done is I've just changed over to one of these little black cap feeders. Couple of, well, 3 maggots on a small size 14 there. I've just cast this out and had a bite straight away. Missed it like a pillock. There's nothing doing at all yet on the predator rods. All I'm doing with those really is giving them 10 or 15 minutes and casting them to a completely different spot. And we've got a stack of water I can cover from this swim. I'm not sure how the predator's going to react to the sun. I'm presuming it's going to put the zander off, but you know, if it affects the pike fishing, I'm not sure, but we'll keep at it for a bit yet anyway. Well guys, nothing's happening on the predator rods at the moment. I am starting to get a few knocks on the maggot feeder rod. Not really surprised the sun's starting to come out. You know, it's probably small roach and stuff, but you know, they'll do as bait. I haven't caught anything yet. The bait, when I'm getting bites and striking, it's just coming back with like one of the maggots. So what I've done is I've scaled right down. I've got size 18 on, single maggot. So what I'm going to do as well is go down there and sit with the rod across my knee like I did last week, and see if we can't have one out that way. I missed that, guys. Well guys, as you saw there, I'm getting bites. Not connecting with them, but I'm getting bites on the maggot feeder. These pike rods are doing nothing at all now. I think the time, certainly for Zander's, probably over now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of the rods, the pike rods, packed away, the predator rods. I'm going to fish 2 rods on the maggot feeder out here, put a worm on one, because sometimes these maggots come back sucked, sometimes they're not. As I said, I've scaled right down on this one, and the last couple of times I've had absolute clangs, but I've missed them, and I think it's probably perch because the maggots weren't sucked. So I'm going to put a worm rod, sorry, a worm on the other rod, cast that out, same thing with just a little black cat feeder on. Leave one dead bait rod out. I think I'm going to pop the dead bait up as well. I've been fishing on the bottom. Now the sun's got up a bit. I think it might be a bit better if we pop it up, so it's sort of wafting around, get it out in the current. So that's what I'm going to do now. Well guys, we've got to run on the lamprey. Yep, it's definitely going. I'm going to hit it, I think. Oh, yes, we got something. Whoa. Out of the way. Oh, wow. Well, it's a pike, I've just seen it. It's not huge, but it's not small. putting up a good account of himself. Oh, got him. We're off the mark. Well guys, as I say, it's not a monster. It's probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 pounds, something like that. Let's get him unhooked, have a look at him. There we go. Lamprey head. As you can see, there's a couple of trebles on there. On the one rod, I've had a couple of trebles, but what I've done is crushed the barbs down. This just popped out lovely, and as I said, as you probably saw, I mean, I don't hang about striking either. Lots of people wait and stuff, and it's like, nah, just small baits, just hit it. You know, last thing I want to do is deep hook anything. But there you go. Oh, can't get him in the shot. There we are. I don't know, 5 or 6 pound maybe. It really matter, does it? Definitely made it worth getting up. But that's brilliant. Put up a great account of himself. First pike of the year. Chuffed, absolutely chuffed to bits. That's brilliant. Fantastic. Let's get him back in the water. Well guys, that's me done. It's about 10:30, 11:15 now. I haven't caught anything little at all today. We've had a few bites, but caught nothing. But you know, it was always going to be hard. A couple of nights of hard frost. The water's dropped 2 degrees since Friday night, so you know, it's always going to put the fish down. We adapted, bought the pike gear, and paid off. Brilliant. If you'd told me at 7 o'clock in this morning that I was going to catch pike, so £6, that'd do me, to be honest. First trip, I'm not greedy. Fantastic, the rigs are working, everything worked, traces I tied up are working, so I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased. No zander, but to be honest with you, I think we're better off fishing for those of an evening and into dark. I'm sure they feed much better in the dark. What's the biggest we've had out of here? I've had an 8 out of here, about £8, something like that, just below the lock. So there's some decent zander in here, so that'd be lovely. I'd love to catch a decent, or even a double figure zander. That'd be fantastic. Or some big pike, brilliant. Anyway, learnt a bit. I haven't managed to catch any bait at all. So I'm thinking I may go and speak to Anastasia now. It's warmed up quite a lot, depending on what we've got planned for the day. Speak to my wife. We might nip down a lock for an hour, see if we can catch a few roach and bleak and stuff maybe as zander bait for next weekend. But anyway, I'm off home. Thank you very much once again for watching. Most people from the comments I get seem to be enjoying it, so I'm or enjoying them, should I say. So thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying them, and I shall see you again next Friday evening. I think we'll be into December then, if I'm right in thinking. So winter's on its way. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling, and I will see you Friday evening.